Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aziz Boxwala, and I'm going to talk about a smart on FHIR app development tool that we've built called Sapphire. And before I get started, I should say the last time I was presenting from a podium and Ed Hammond was sitting right in front of me, defending my PhD dissertation. This is about a couple of decades ago. Ed, you have another chance to grade me. Hope this one goes better. So as I said, Sapphire is a visual toolkit for building rapid apps very rapidly. And the way we do it is we have a bunch of pre-built components, visual components and some service components. These visual components are coupled with FHIR resources. You can essentially drag and drop and build apps very quickly. And what I'll do today is I'll spend most of my time demonstrating this through an app I will build for acute kidney injury. But just a few slides to get started. So Sapphire, as I said, it's a framework, it's a toolkit to create modular healthcare apps. These apps provide small units of functionality, like a decision support UI, kind of example of what Dr. Ken Kawamoto showed earlier, or something to support a particular workflow. Right? Sapphire itself is the environment lets you compose applications, right? Drag and drop pre-built parts, compose them into something new, right? And these parts can be widgets, like I said, UI widgets, or they can be services. And Sapphire is also a runtime environment. So once you build that app, you can run it, deploy it, and run it right away. And these apps are portable across different EHRs. So here's an example. And you can actually see the modularity visually too. So we have something called a patient banner, for example, a problem list, a visit list, a medication list, ability to plot lab results. And this also then transfers over as to the mobile screens as well. And all of these widgets are customizable. So it's not just dragging a problem list, but you can filter and show the problems that you want to show. The problems from this encounter, from this admission, you want to show the problems from the last 6 months, the problems that are active, the problems that are related to a certain clinical illness. So you can customize this application to look and feel and behave the way you want it to. Right? Architecture-wise, there's a kind of a middleware container that hosts most of the services, the most important ones, essential ones being the data access services that let you get data from FHIR repositories. And then we have a bunch of other services that provide other functionality, like terminology services and the ability to filter data and run rules, auditing, this kind of thing. Right? So that's the key part. The app itself contains, like I said, is a number of widgets that interact with each other. And then we have a visual app composer. Right? So when I describe building an app, I describe it in this acronym ACT: assemble, configure, and tie. So assemble lets you drag those components onto a canvas, bring them together, and then configure lets you customize them, change their behavior, change the appearance, select what data you want to display, and then finally you start connecting those components to each other so you can get the behaviors that you want from the application. Right? So here's an example of the app that I'm going to show you. This is running inside a Cerner EHR. It's a smart on FHIR app, and it's an app, a demonstration app for acute kidney injury. And you can see certain things out here. You can see a problem list. This problem list has been filtered to show only problems related to kidney diseases. The same thing with the medication list. You can see lab results out here, and you can see some guidance for how to manage this, an overview of the guidance for how to manage this patient's care. So I'm going to switch to the demonstration now. So here's this app coming up. It's not embedded inside an EHR, but it's outside. And you can see the lab result. You can see creatinine plotted out here. You can see the patient's demographic. Here's the problem list that showed up. It's filtered again to acute kidney injury. Same thing with the you can see the monograph here. And some of the medications, again, these have been filtered for kidney function and lab tests out here, right? So when I click on this medication, actually what it's going to do is it's going to launch yet another smart on FHIR app from within this app. And this is going to call an app from one of the other groups we've been collaborating with called their app is called EB Meds. Firefox prevented this. And it takes a few seconds for it to come up, just the orchestration of sharing the OAuth from one app to another app, and then passing that to certain. But what this app did is it actually went and did some medication-related decision support and looked at the patient's creatinine values, looked at the medication profile, and is providing some guidance back to the user. Right? So now I'm going to show you how we built this app. Right? So it's a what's called a WYSIWYG editor. The app designer looks pretty much like the app you saw. So this was the application you were seeing. And I'm going to switch it. So you can see that the key difference now is you see a couple of little boxes out here and this panel on the left. But this is exactly what you saw, and it's now showing up with the app, and it's actually showing live data as you're building the app, so you can edit. Right? I can show you, for example, how we configured it to filter only data related to acute kidney injury. And when I hit this little editing tool, I go to data filters, and it says the problem code is associated with the diagnosis 584, ICD-9 584, which is acute kidney injury syndrome. There are other filters in here as well. I won't modify this, but I'll show it to you. For example, I can filter on the problem date, problem status, being active, confirmed. These are actually old values. So I'm not going to save that. I can do similar things with medications. Lab results, very similar thing. How I plotted the serum creatinine was I just put a data filter on it and said lab test code is a certain line code, and it plots that out. So it's really easy to build this. So let me show you how, just add some more functionality to this while we're looking at it. So I want to maybe allow the user to add new problems to this list, right? So everything in, Sapphire, the visual parts are those pages, and then the pages have widgets on them. So I'm going to add a page first. Right? My page should have a layout. I'm going to add a layout. I want to show a banner here. A banner is just showing the patient demographics up top. And these widgets out here are coupled with FHIR resources. So this patient widget is coupled to the patient resource. I drag this up to where the banner should go. Now this doesn't look like a banner. So I'm going to go in and change the sensing. Instead of showing me a list, show me a banner. And I have a banner. Now I said I wanted to show a problem editor. I'm going to grab the problem resource here. Show this again. This is showing a list. I say I want to add or edit the problems, and click on this, and save this. And now I have a problem editor. Now I need to couple this with my problem widget here, and that's where this is the T part of the ACT, right? So I'm going to couple this with the. Say I want to create an event. I want to allow users to add problems. And when they click on add a problem, it's going to open in a pop-up window the page that we just created. Save this. What you saw happening is also this plus sign got added, which will allow me to actually modify this, add new problems, sorry. So now when I go back and I refresh this page, I see the add sign here. I can click on this, and I can start adding problems, I think. There you go. So if I want to search for SNOMED codes only, I can do that in here. Let's say I want to add pneumonia as a problem. Oh boy. It's a little slow, but I can pick the SNOMED problem, and So this is where that I was talking about coupled with terminology services. So we can couple this with terminology services. Again, this is, I'm not going to save this, just not to alter that record for future demonstrations. So that was the demonstration piece. I am going to go back to my slideshow. So I talked a little bit about the associations and how we generated those filtering dynamically based around concepts, and we use that. We use a knowledge base called Loop that we've developed through machine learning, curating large public knowledge sources, and now we can filter different concepts using filter data using concepts. So if I were to filter around diabetes, my knowledge base has these associations in it, and then I can start filtering the relevant data. And we've done that at large scale, so we have built that around most of the problem concepts, medication concepts, lab concepts, and we can start filtering data very quickly that way. I think that was it. Since this was my backup demo, that was my presentation. Thank you very much.